Can we connect with the loved ones who have already crossed to the spirit world? Welcome to the Mystery Teachings with me, Katerina Satori. This was the question that I received from one of my community members on Instagram. And if you have any questions regarding to Mystery Teachings, you're always welcome to drop them in the comment below. I do read them, and if I hear the same question that comes up from my community, I take a moment and I share my perspective with them. Right? So I've been a passionate student of the science of the soul and the science of theosophy and a spiritual science, right? Which is a mix of, ancient wisdom traditions with a more modern channeled information that you can access through tapping into either communication with such powerful beings like ascended masters or any other advanced civilizations who are in the different levels or planes of consciousness. And you can receive a lot of channeled information, right, that you can verify by knowing how does the body feel. Whenever I read a channeled information, the ones that is pure, the one that is benevolent, is always leads you to a sense of wholeness within. It always reminds you to trust what you already know and to verify it with the feeling of your body. So whenever I study esoteric traditions from any wisdom lineage, right, the mystical traditions, there is always a consistent body of knowledge that talks about layers of our soul being. Different traditions say that we have 7 subtle bodies. Some traditions like Kabbalah name 10 different spiritual bodies. Ancient Egyptian lineage, esoteric Egyptian lineage, mystical one, also names 10 bodies that we have, 10 layers, right? So, but what a lot of traditions agree is that we have these lower vehicles, right? Lower layers and the higher layers. And lower, it means that they cannot be passed through the portal of death. They dissolve and they remain in this reality. For example, the physical body, the emotional body, and the mental body, they do not survive the portal of death. So to answer the question, can we communicate with the loved ones who have crossed? My perspective is based on esoteric science, that lower bodies do not survive. What does survive is the soul essence, your soul being, right? Which is the most pure and refined qualities of your soul that you are able to activate and develop this lifetime. What survives is the level of consciousness that you're able to activate or remember or connect to this lifetime. All that being said, when our loved ones leave their physical form, it's because they have completed all the lessons for this particular lifetime. They are ready to progress to a different learning experience, but what happened is they don't really retain their personality, the part of them that you remember, that you connect, that you have emotional connection with. They continue on and take on different body and a different incarnation. Yes, there can be and usually is a life review between incarnations. So a soul will take the time to really evaluate, how was this incarnation? How was the journey? What was the growth? What were the lessons? What can be useful to evolve into next, right? So there is always evolution of life and a progression of the soul. So from this perspective, you won't be able really to contact your loved ones as their personality has been dissolved through before they enter the portal of death. You can connect to the memory that you have, the memory, the most beautiful moments. And through the memory becomes like a portal that you connect to their soul essence, right? So for example, I had a beautiful connection with my grandmother, who have died when I was only 18, right? So I was not present for her death. I was thousands and thousands of miles away, studying at my first college, and it was incredibly difficult for me. It was like the first big devastation, the first big loss of losing the family member that I felt the deepest connection with, the deepest affection by, right? And what I remember, I felt her joining the team of the spirit guides that I already been working with. I couldn't explain how I knew this, but it was just a download of information. So I could use the memory, the most loving memory that I had was me sharing moments with my grandmother, as a way to access her soul essence, knowing that the personality of my grandmother, that has been dissolved, right? Because the personality or the ego self cannot pass into the portal of death, which is the ocean of unity, right? After, when we leave the physical reality, we enter the world of spirit, which is the world of wholeness and undivided unity. So we join this ocean of unity. So instead of thinking that we are the wave, we are realizing we are the ocean. We are part of the ocean. We're not just a single wave, right? In our physical reality, we think of ourselves as I am an ocean wave. And look how exciting this life is, right? I'm on the foam on the wave. But then when we go through awakening, through realization of our true potential, we begin to see ourselves as being indivisible part of the ocean. So in the spirit world, this is what happens, right? Again, this is my perspective, and if it feels true for you, you'll recognize it on the level of the body. A lot of times, people go to mediums, and mediums tap into the memory. What medium will do, they will tap into the field of memory. It's called Akashic Records, right? So Akashic Records, a skilled channeler or a skilled medium usually taps into Akashic Records, which Akashic Records, think about it as an ocean of memory, that every single thought, word, action, and feeling is recorded in the body of that ocean of memory. So when we realize that, there is a natural increase in a sense of responsibility for our actions, for our emotions, for our decisions, for our choices, right? Because we know everything is recorded. We are, there's gonna be a memory bank where information is stored. So on one hand, you can access the memory of your past, of your loved ones who have crossed to the other side. And on the other hand, we gotta remember that they have dissolved their personality, the one that you've known them for, but their soul essence remains. So when it's for you time to go into the spirit world through the portal of death, you will see them almost like as a unique vibration of color, right, and frequency. So think about it, when we don't have the body, when we are in the spirit world, how do we recognize each other? Through a feeling nature, through a vibrational nature, through a recognition of our soul essence. And ultimately what happens, we begin to remember and realize that we belong to a particular soul group, right, to our soul family. So every incarnation, we incarnate not only as individual self, but we reincarnate as a soul group. So that's why when you meet somebody and you say, gosh, you feel familiar, like I've known you somewhere in a past life, quite possibly you did. Quite possibly this is not the first dance that you have done together. you continue what you have started in the past and you just play a different role. Maybe if you were a mother in a previous lifetime, now you have a relationship with this person. Now it's a husband and wife, and then it's a grandparents, and then it's adversary, and that's a new ally. So there is a beautiful journey of souls. And again, I recommend the book called Journey of Souls. It is phenomenal. If you just Google it, you will find it. It's a beautiful, kind of like a starry night page. But then how do we get this information outside of channeling and mediumship and studying esoteric science, right? We also can access it through hypnosis, through past life regression, which is a very effective way of accessing subconscious mind, the world of the soul. And again, we're accessing Akashic records, where all our past lives, all our previous incarnations are stored in the ocean of memory. So this is my perspective, that we can't really directly contact our loved ones who have crossed to the spirit world. We can communicate to their soul essence through the memory. So if you miss, for example, if you're going through experience of loss, if a loved one recently crossed, what I would offer you in your heart is to rest in the bond that you have created. Rest in that eternal nature of love, that once you shared love with another human being, that does not disappear. Yes, it can change forms, but that experience is for you to rest in, for you to relive in memory, for you to appreciate, for you to see a new angles of that experience. And another perspective is, don't wait to say what you want to say while you're still alive. If there is a tension in your relationship with somebody, say it, reach out, right? Whether it's your parent, whether it's your sibling, because you don't know if you have another chance tomorrow. So impermanence of life has its particular beauty, because we don't know the time that we are given, how long it's going to be. And the impermanence of life makes this whole experience of human journey is so incredibly precious. It's so incredibly precious that we remember to stay true to our hearts, remember to be kind, remember to make a new choice when we were short with somebody, or held back our love, or protected our hearts, right? Every breath is a new choice. So you can connect to your loved ones by remembering the strength of the bond that you created and cultivated while they were still alive. You can revisit the memory and allow that memory to open your heart in love, and know that their soul essence, their soul continues to take new forms, continues to travel in the expansion of its essence. And to those of loved ones that are still alive, if you know you have a calling within you to pick up the phone or get on Zoom and let them know how much you see, appreciate, and value them for who they are. If you still want to do it now while you are alive, that is precious and a wonderful impulse to follow. This was Katerina Satori, and this was my answer, my perspective on the question, how can we contact or connect with the loved ones who have crossed through the portal of death to the other side? If you enjoyed this video and you found value in that, let me know in the comments. And if you have any specific questions on any mystery teaching topics, science of the soul, reincarnation, karma, ascension, awakening, I'm here for you. You can leave me a comment and let me know your question in there. Until then, may you be blessed.